Alright, Summer Del Piso here again. I'm going to try to talk about metaphysics. We're going to get deep. I want to show you guys, or I want to at least help you guys have weapons, armament to battle the enemy of semen retention, the destroyer of your streaks. I'm going to try to talk to you about the methods of attack that the world uses, that the devil uses in order to have you guys sidetracked and, parried off your path of trying to gain long streaks and trying to retain. Like, comment, subscribe, let's get into it. So we're gonna get straight into this. One thing that the world uses is the normalization of the indulgence of lust. All cultures are caught under this thrall, all cultures are caught under its trap. The idea of going on adult film content websites, the idea of scrolling through Instagram and seeing half-naked women, lewd material, is now normalized. Poland, these guys in Polska have been watching a lot of adult film content, way more than before, than 10 years ago. In South America, they're watching way more adult film content than ever before. In Russia, they're watching way more adult film content than ever before. In the United States, they're watching way more adult film content than ever before. Why is it that in a world that's become more interconnected, why are people watching more adult film content? I don't know. That's the way of the world, right? If you're not having sex, what are you doing? Why are you even living your life? And so this message that constantly barrages the retainer's subconscious comes out in dreams. Their dreams are going to lie to you and try to validate your sexual release. And you understand that that's not of God. And it is to some degree, but as a challenge and not necessarily to indulge. All the cultures of the world, they love pleasure. They do. Your father and your mother and your siblings will tell you, either directly or indirectly, to have sex, to indulge, to release. Because we all do it. It's normal, right? Okay, if you're not sleeping with anyone, go on adult film content websites and release. That's what everyone does. That's normal. When you know for sure that that's all emanations of an evil force, having you separate from your most powerful energy ever. There is no substitute to the energy built from semen retention. None. There never will be. There never can be. Right? So to combat this, stop. If you have a problem, if you're just beginning your practice of semen retention and you had a past life of constantly indulging, constantly releasing, constantly being tempted by lust, delete your Instagram account, delete your Facebook, site blockers on your browser. I never use these kind of things because I don't get it. I never understood it. But if it's that drastic, then do so. Block those websites. Stay away from those things, because whatever causes you to sin, you must cut it off, or else your whole body is going to constantly be programmed and conditioned to constantly sin. That's one of the main ways that that this world now has normalized lust. It's cool to be on adult film content websites. If you're not releasing, if you're not masturbating, then you are less of a human being. You're not cool, and you're not invited to the parties anymore, right? Which it doesn't matter, because you're only going there to enervate the body through drinking, smoking, doing drugs, and you're just going to separate your understanding from God. I'm just giving you guys perspective. So anyway, that's one method. Another method as well is peer pressure from the people in your life that have followed the trajectory of the traditional rite of passage. Sounds like word salad, but I'm going to try to elucidate this in the best way possible. What it is that your parents got married at a certain age, or they conceived you at a certain age. Their parents conceived them at a certain age. And this is the rite of passage in the world. All cultures go through this for the most part. All the really traditional cultures that that have a belief in family, right? You have to be married at a certain time. You have to do this at a certain time. You have to have this done at a certain time. And when you take these ideals into your subconscious, again, you'll get dreams. You'll be haunted by these ideas in like these Jungian symbolic ways on how you should get married or you should have sex. And you need to, when that happens, sit down, get some fresh air, and fully disseminate the situation. Why is it that I feel conditioned by the world to follow these precepts, to follow these rules? I'm different. I'm not interested, or I don't have any prospects for a wife right now. Why is it that I need to do this? And so the more you do this, remember, you have to barrage the mind with a constant stream of opposing thoughts to the general collective sentiment and narrative. You need to keep doing this, or else you're going to be conditioned by the world to unconsciously do what they do in regard to releasing and having sex. The problem with semen retention, and the biggest challenge of it, I don't want to get sidetracked, but I'm going to just talk about it briefly. The biggest challenge of semen retention and celibacy is the beginning, because it is a renewal of your mind against all of the things you were conditioned by of the world. Sex, drugs, manipulation for shadowy means. You need the whole idea of capitalism being bad because it's competitive, and not because that competitive nature is natural to us as human beings and draws out creative thoughts for the betterment of society. You need to renew yourself completely. Get away from this whole idea of this culture needs to be with this culture, and I like this, so I need to be with that. Semen retention renews and destroys and eradicates all of those beliefs, which is why the hardest part of it and the challenge of semen retention is the beginning. You need to constantly bombard yourself with a stream of uplifting content. You need to read the Pali Canon, you need to read the Bhagavad Gita, and most importantly, you need to read the Bible. You need to understand what Paul the Apostle said about fornication. You do this, you're going to have so much guidance and so much help and support when the world deserts you, inevitably, when you build that vital energy and that spiritual energy and that connection with God. So there's the two reasons, the aforementioned reasons that I stated about what the world will fire at you when you are taking on this practice of semen retention. Also, number 3 is it's related to what I sort of started with a little while ago, but it's the renewal of your mind. This is the most challenging bit of semen retention. Before you got into the whole idea of celibacy for an idea of the kingdom of God, for an idea of the kingdom of heaven, right? You are of the world. Your ambitions for doing things was of material gain. I want a Van Cleef and Arpels necklace. I'm going to manipulate and have sex until I get it. I want this house. I want this wife that looks like this, even though she does not understand anything about the book of Job, or she does not know anything about Jezebel. I want her because she has lip fillers, she has lashes, she is a woman of the world. I will be worshipped by the people of the world because I have her at my side. There needs to be a renewal, an eradication of that only comes about through active semen retention. You are going to not have any support from the people around you, because the world does not go through things like this voluntarily. No one will ever undertake a journey of faith and celibacy and abstention from the pleasures of the world willingly. That does not happen. There must be an intervention by God, and then that push and that support comes from God, but then of course you're the one that is putting all of the energy and all of the gas into the engine. You need to read good material. Good material. You need to get into physical exercise. You need to subjugate the flesh at all costs. You need, like I've always been saying in my earlier videos, build a spiritual aqueduct structure in your mind where you're able to filter out the lust of the world instantly. When you see things in, hot climates, tropical climates, with women scantily dressed, you look at it and then it just filters through your mind. It does not reside anywhere. Not as Leonardo da Vinci said, it doesn't hold in a space like water and becomes foul and poisons the vessel around it. You need to filter everything out, everything. Whether that be through learning another language, being creative, journaling, running outside, doing cardio, doing calisthenics, getting punched in the face through boxing, through martial arts. You must subjugate the flesh immediately. This is one of the biggest challenges in following the path of semen retention. There's a 3A, I guess, an addendum, an addition to the third option, which is you need to get rid of all of the people from your past. I'm going to repeat that. I don't think you guys are really understanding this. You're probably looking at this as a normal video that is just Somer del Piso chatting again. But you need to I'm going to stress this, get rid of everyone you knew in your past that will help with your renewal process. Your parents, your friends, your family do most likely 99% have not ever undertook this journey. Because they have not undertook this journey, they are of the world. Through their conscious actions, or their actions consciously or unconsciously, they will seek to separate you from God who is leading you on where he needs you to be on your path. He knows that you need a semen retention before you even got the message to do so. And so you need to help yourself receive the blessings from God. Separate yourself from your family. These people are taken on to lust. A lot of the bloodlines of the world, we're gonna get genetic now. A lot of the bloodlines in the world are taken on to pleasure and material wealth. All of the Caribbean bloodlines, all of the South American bloodlines are mostly into lust. They're mostly into the fulfillment of pleasures, of sex, of sense pleasures. That's all they care about. The Latin language, and languages in general, like the Russian language, the Cyrillic alphabet, civilized those people, because the Cyrillic alphabet, if you guys didn't know, is a written language of Russian that was of God. It was inspired by the church. It was Cyril, he was some priest, and he taught this language to the savage cultures of Russia. Latin domesticated the savages, right, of the heathen cultures, right, the ones that are so interested in sex, so interested in sense pleasures. We have way more parallels of personal subjugation than ever before. If you learn other languages, if you subjugate the flesh, if you stay away from the drugs, the alcohol, the drinks, the people that are interested in sex for pleasure's sake, that are interested in pleasure, sense pleasures, separate yourselves from them. Condition yourself. The momentary choice of choosing to be a good person, a celibate person, a follower of God, it's not just momentary. You have to make it moment after moment after moment after moment after moment for long frames of time until your body just intuitively and reflexively does the way of God, does the will of God. This is the biggest challenge of all when it comes to semen retention. And I'm telling you, if you constantly follow what I just told you, because it helped me. When I first, and you guys know this, when I first started semen retention, I didn't believe in it at all. I thought that it was normal to constantly indulge, to fornicate, to sleep around, to masturbate. I thought this was all normal because people said it was normal. The rich say it's normal. Scientific reports said it's normal. The study cases, they all said it was normal, right? But then we took a deviation. A lot of us skeptics, a lot of us heretics, right? We took a deviation from the path of the world, and we discovered that this energy that was built from semen retention is great. It's a light that permeates through all of our doubts, right? We understand exactly why Paul was pushed the way he was to preach the word of God and Christianity and the word of Jesus Christ. Because he was celibate. He had all his energy with him. He was not sinning. You have to do this. You have to subjugate the flesh, most importantly. Let's carry on. You also need to learn how to declutter your space. A lot of us live in filth, right? We have garbage everywhere in our houses. We don't wash the dishes. We don't complete what we started, whether it be personal projects or, cooking at home or thinking about cooking. We have all these random thoughts in our day because we fill our minds up with nonsense. We scroll through all of this stuff on social media, right? We get all of this random bits of information that's not useful in any sense, and then the sentiment of our hearts change in tandem with the material that we consume. And so we are inspired for a limited amount of time, and then we stop scrolling because we have to do an action in reality, such as maybe getting off public transportation, maybe crossing the street and not get hit by a car, maybe opening my apartment door or the door to the apartment building to get in my apartment. We have that gap of time when we're away from these poisonous algorithms, right? These infectious algorithms, and that inspiration is lost. We have lost the ambition to do what we saw. We don't finish anything that we started. And so we need to clear ourselves of that. We need to get away from that. We need to make sure that all the material that we absorb is healthy. You have to make sure that your body is running at the optimal level that is able and afforded to it due to genetics, due to the physical limits of your body at that current point in time. You need to make sure that everything is in check. Read good material. Don't get involved with problems that are outside of you that is poisonous in nature. People bickering for no reason, angry about silly things that are taken on to sex, that are taken on to pleasures of the world, drinking, smoking. That stuff is outside of you. Let them do it. Judge them not. Let them do it. If you get yourself involved, it infects you. These things you need to remember. The brain in all levels of life, even as a child, to when you're a young adult, to when you're an adult, and then when you're hitting your twilight years, and then when you're hitting the conclusive stages of your life. The brain is incredibly neuroplastic to everything. If you stay in, I'm going to talk about Bosnia because we just spanked them in the World Cup. If you stay in Sarajevo for a long period of time, you are going to pick up some Bosnian. You're going to pick up some of that language because your brain is very neuroplastic. When you are constantly in Yakutia, which is close to Siberia in Russia, near one of their oblasts, you are going to be used to the cold because that place is just very cold. The brain is incredibly neuroplastic, and that applies to everything that surrounds the brain. When you constantly watch adult film content material, when you're around lewd individuals that have not integrated healthily the masculine and feminine natures of the self, of the soul, the light and dark natures of the soul properly, and they're only caught up on material wealth. Their God is the God of the world. Materialism, sex, sense pleasures. When you are around that, the neuroplasticity of your brain is going to identify with that. You will have dreams and ideals of that type of nature, a basest nature, a low sexual sense pleasure seeking type of nature. And your soul will be poisoned. Your journey will be parried. It will be misled. That's why there's nothing in common between a man of God and a man of the world. There's nothing that you should have in common with them. Do not walk next to them. And that's going to be a big, big challenge on semen retention for sure. Renewing your habits, decluttering your space so it's just clear and clean and pristine and sharp. Right? So I'm going to end that here, guys. I could talk forever about these things because I've applied a lot of this stuff to my life and it's been helping immensely, But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that kind of content. Like, comment, subscribe if you did. Share the video with some peers. Don't ever let this place get you down. I'm telling you, the moment you undertake the practice of semen retention, celibacy, right? You're not listening to your father or your mother. You're not listening to your siblings. You're not listening to your friends. You've separated yourself from all of them. The world will attack you. The world will be against you directly and indirectly. They will cause you to sin. They will put a stumbling block in front of you so you can get back into the world and they don't have to worry about another beacon of light inspiring other souls of their folly and bringing them into the glorious light that is of Jesus Christ, God, and celibacy, right? And ascension, for ascension's sake. You have to understand, humans are very, very malleable. The angels in heaven, Shem Yaza, Ariok, the rest of the fallen angels, Azazel, all those freaks that betrayed God to have sex with women after their long journey of ascension through the orders of angels, through the archangels, into the most high realm. They ascended so much and they betrayed God to have sex. You need to understand how silly these angels are, these beings are. You are not of them. You're not. You're not of the same material. You are better than who they were. Because you made better choices and you are trusting God's will, even if it doesn't make sense to you at the time or ever. Right? Stay on semen retention, stay celibate, find peace, stay connected. Stay connected to God. I love you all. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Woo!